Hey there, my name is Jeff Finley, and these are the 3 keys to habit change, 3 keys to waking up early. This is the trigger, routine, and reward system. I learned this from The Power of Habit and also Zen Habits. They talk about trigger, cue, routine, trigger, whatever. Trigger, routine, and reward. So the trigger is where you identify when your typical habit starts. So say you smoke, or say you eat junk food and you want to break that habit. So you start by noticing yourself eating the junk food and being like, what triggered this? What triggered my craving? And say, for example, when I used to work in the office, I would be going up to the snack bar or getting another cup of coffee, and it's like I would do it kind of mindlessly. I wouldn't realize I'm doing it. But then when I started waking up to my habit and wanting to change it or just look at it, I'm like, what is my trigger? And I would notice that I would be triggered by boredom, or like some sort of delay in my work, or an uncomfortability or feeling of emptiness, this feeling of wanting to be somewhere else or do something different, this feeling of wanting to be distracted or escape. And I would go to food, I would go to coffee, all sorts of things like that. And my podcast co-host George, he talked about being a smoker, and when he would smoke, he would do it because he needed a break from the action. He was overwhelmed and wanted to go outside to smoke, like if he was out at a bar or something like that, or if he was with some friends and they were smoking, so he would be triggered to smoke as well, because there would be an underlying feeling of uncomfortability to not smoke while your friends are smoking, and it's like, I got to do it too. So that's how you identify a trigger, to look at your current habits and see what triggers you to do it. When I would sit down to watch a TV show at night, I would immediately get a craving for a snack, because I associated my TV watching with eating a snack at the same time. For me, my snack of choice was a bowl of cereal, and so it's like, oh, we're gonna watch a show, I'm gonna grab my bowl of cereal first. And it's like, oh, I knew it's sort of an addiction when I thought about not having my bowl of cereal and felt kind of like, oh, I want to have that. I can't watch TV without it. So you can imagine. So what's the routine? So the routine is the habit itself. What are the activities you do when you engage in that habit? So for my cereal habit, it was like, well, the trigger is we're watching a show, so I would go through the motions of pouring myself a bowl of cereal, sitting down on the couch, hitting play. Simple as that. And so think about your habits that you do, and what is the routine that you always follow. In the wake up early habit specifically, you wake up, and there's a set of things that you typically do on a daily basis that are your routine. You hit the snooze bar, you get up, go in the shower, you make a cup of coffee, you eat your breakfast, you read the paper, or you go on social media, you go on your phone, you look at the news, you look at the weather. There's a certain series of things that you do. Okay, that's your routine. And the reward is kind of abstract. When I had my bowl of cereal while watching a show, my reward, I might think that it's my bowl of cereal, but what it is, it's this sort of relief from this discomfort that I feel. Take another example. You look at your phone when you're waiting for something. What are you actually doing? You're not really doing much. What is your reward for looking at your phone? Well, for one, it's avoiding the uncomfortable situation of waiting without having anything to do. That's something that we've all trained ourselves. I've noticed so many people are staring at their phones while they're waiting in line or waiting for coffee or just whatever they're doing. They're waiting, but they have to occupy themselves because somehow it's too awkward, too uncomfortable to not look at something or busy yourself with something. So we reach for our phones and we engage in that habit. So the reward is this often feeling of relief, satiation. We were hungry and now we're not. We're full, we're satisfied. Or we work out, we feel proud, we feel accomplished, we feel energized and glad that we did it. And we're all sweaty and we're like, you know what, that's the sign that we had a good workout. We feel accomplished, yeah. And so the trigger, routine, reward is the 3 keys to helping you build positive habits. We talked about the habits that you do that are bad that you're trying to quit, but how do you use that to your advantage? How do you create a habit, a new one that you want to do? Take like waking up early. So what is the trigger, routine, reward you're going to set up for your wake up early habit? So many people hit the snooze bar, and then they go back to sleep. So they start their day by procrastinating. I did this all the time. And it wasn't until I put the alarm across the room that I really kicked the snooze habit for good. But develop your ideal trigger, routine, reward system for any new habit you want to create. Say you want to, well, just say you want to go to the gym, you want to exercise. What can be your trigger? And a successful example of creating a trigger is to link it to something you already do all the time. So wake up, you step out of bed. Oh, look, there's your gym shoes. There's your workout clothes right by your dresser or whatever. So you can you set those out the night before. So everything's already waiting for you. So you wake up, you see your shoes and your clothes, and you know that that's what you're going to do next. So you put them on without really thinking. You get out the door and go for a jog. Or maybe after you take a shower, you brush your teeth, or after you eat breakfast, you brush your teeth. So it's like you link these habits and say, what do you do after you brush your teeth? Well, maybe you should add your meditation habit right after that. Or maybe you should add your journaling habit right after your meditation habit. And so after you're done meditating, you hit the stop on the timer or whatever you want to do, write about it in your journal. You can do that consistently. And if you do that every single day, then it becomes your overall routine. And you've linked that up by chaining habits together using the trigger, routine, and reward system. And you have to make sure you get yourself a good reward. So what is the reward for meditating, or a reward for writing in your journal? That's up to you to decide. You can decide how you want to reward yourself for that. But those are the 3 keys to habit change in good and bad. Trigger, routine, reward. So set it up for yourself. And yeah, it's up to you. So go ahead and make it happen.